Imagine a nation on the brink of change, a kingdom thousands of years old about to be reshaped forever. This is the story of the Iranian Revolution of 1979, a seismic event that not only transformed Iran, but also redrew the political map of the Middle East. Our story begins not in 1979, but decades earlier, with the rise of Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. Backed by Western powers, the Shah embarked on an ambitious program of modernization known as the White Revolution. He built dams, railways, and factories. Women gained the right to vote, and literacy programs were launched across the country. On the surface, Iran was a picture of progress, a modernizing monarchy striding into the 20th century. But beneath this glossy veneer, a deep-seated discontent was brewing. The Shah's reforms, while well-intentioned in some aspects, were often imposed from the top down, alienating traditional segments of society, especially the powerful clergy. His secret police, the Savak, became notorious for suppressing dissent, creating an atmosphere of fear. While the elite in Tehran enjoyed a lavish, westernized lifestyle, many Iranians in rural areas and urban slums felt left behind, their cultural and religious values seemingly under attack. The oil boom of the 1970s only widened this gap. Billions of dollars flowed into the country, but the wealth was not distributed evenly. Corruption became rampant, and the economic disparity between the rich and the poor grew into a chasm. For many, the Shah's government was seen as a puppet of the United States, selling out the nation's resources and identity for Western approval. Amidst this growing unrest, one voice began to resonate with millions of disillusioned Iranians. It was the voice of Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, a charismatic cleric who had been exiled by the Shah in 1964. From his exile, first in Turkey, then Iraq, and finally in France, Khomeini's sermons and writings were smuggled into Iran on cassette tapes. He spoke of social justice, national independence, and a return to Islamic values. He condemned the Shah's regime as corrupt, tyrannical, and un-Islamic. These simple, powerful messages struck a chord with a diverse coalition of people: religious conservatives, left-wing students, secular intellectuals, and merchants from the bazaars. They were all united by a common enemy, the Shah. By late 1978, the simmering discontent had boiled over into mass protests. Millions of people took to the streets across Iran. Cities were paralyzed by strikes. The demonstrations were massive, yet often peaceful, a powerful display of civil disobedience. The government responded with force, but the violence only fueled the public's anger and strengthened their resolve. The army, once the pillar of the Shah's power, began to fracture, with soldiers refusing to fire on their own people. Seeing his grip on power disintegrate, the Shah made a series of desperate concessions, but it was too little, too late. The movement had gone beyond mere reform. The people wanted the complete removal of the monarchy. On January 16, 1979, under immense pressure, Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi and his family fled Iran, never to return. The news was met with euphoric celebrations across the country. Just 2 weeks later, on February 1, 1979, Ayatollah Khomeini made his triumphant return from exile. He was greeted by millions of cheering supporters who lined the streets of Tehran. It was a hero's welcome. His arrival marked the definitive end of 2,500 years of monarchical rule in Iran and the beginning of a new, uncertain chapter. In the power vacuum that followed the Shah's departure, a provisional government was established. However, the real power lay with Khomeini and his revolutionary councils. In a referendum held in April 1979, an overwhelming majority of Iranians voted to abolish the monarchy and establish an Islamic republic. A new constitution was drafted, one that enshrined the principle of Vilayat-e-Faqih, or the guardianship of the Islamic jurist, which placed ultimate authority in the hands of a supreme leader, Ayatollah Khomeini himself. The early days of the republic were chaotic and transformative. The revolutionary government moved swiftly to dismantle the old order. Women were required to wear the hijab in public, the legal system was aligned with Islamic law, and Western cultural influences were purged. Former officials of the Shah's regime faced revolutionary tribunals, and many were executed. The revolution was consuming its own. The turning point that would define Iran's relationship with the West for decades to come occurred on November 4, 1979. A group of student protesters, angry at the United States for granting asylum to the exiled Shah, stormed the U.S. embassy in Tehran and took 52 American diplomats and citizens hostage. The Iran hostage crisis lasted for 444 days, severing diplomatic ties with the U.S. and isolating Iran on the international stage. The Iranian Revolution was not just a political event. It was a profound social and cultural upheaval. It sought to create a new society based on its interpretation of Islamic principles, challenging the post-World War II order dominated by the two superpowers, the USA and the Soviet Union. It championed a neither East nor West policy, aiming for true independence. The legacy of the 1979 revolution is complex and still unfolding. It established a unique system of government, a theocratic republic that continues to this day. It has profoundly influenced political movements across the Muslim world and has been a central factor in the geopolitics of the Middle East. For the people of Iran, it brought an end to a monarchy but ushered in a new set of challenges and realities that continue to shape their lives. The story of the Iranian Revolution is a powerful reminder of how a combination of economic inequality, political repression, and a powerful ideology can topple even the most entrenched regimes. It's a story of a nation's quest for identity, independence, and justice, a journey whose echoes are still felt today in Iran and around the world. Thank you so much for joining us on this historical journey. If you found this documentary insightful, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the events that shaped our world. We'll see you in the next video.